Hello everyone! So my name is Tim.
I'm Ju.
This is the Cinema Exchange. And so we're here in Kingston University recording our first podcast. This is just going to be a brief introduction to what we're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about Korean films and British films and lots of good stuff. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm Ji. I've been living here in the UK for like 9 years, and I'm currently working in an office job. But I've studied film for my undergraduate and postgraduate, and I'm pursuing myself working in film industry in the future. So I think this this film podcast is very helpful for my career journey, and also myself learning a lot of classic Korean cinema and potentially British film as well. So I'm really enjoying exploring film history and different genre.
Okay, great. And what kind of job would you like to have in the film industry in the future?
Well, I don't see myself that creative in a way that I'm making films or actually like working in on a set. But as my the study went on, I have read a lot of film-related articles, critics. So at the moment, my pure joy going to cinema is after that I reviewed a lot of films and also shared the idea of how each one of audience take on board of different films. So that's something I'm develop my ideas further and into concrete ideas. So yeah.
Okay, well, sounds good.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, well, so I think just briefly, we met like 5 years ago at a film festival, the London East Asia Film Festival, and so I had worked at a few film festivals actually.
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in cinema since I was a young man or a young boy, but I got more heavily into it, I guess, I don't know, 10 years ago. I was a journalist in London, and I actually interviewed some Korean actors and directors, and I got into Korean cinema actually more like 20 years ago, like just out of curiosity. I started watching some Korean films like Old Boy and Save the Green Planet, My Sassy Girl, those kind of films. Those were some of my favorites back then. But yeah, I moved to London like 12 years ago and became a journalist, writing articles about events in London. And I got the opportunity to meet some great directors like, sorry, I can't remember the directors off the top of my head, but some actors like Chae Min-sik from Old Boy, I met him, and some other famous ones. So, and since then, I also became a translator, and I've done some subtitles for Korean films and dramas. The most recent one I did was called My Name is Loki-won. That was a film on Netflix about a North Korean defector. Song Joong-ki was the main actor. So, and also I did some audio work for Pachinko Season 2.
Wow, how did it go?
Yeah, it was really good. That's an Apple series, and I didn't have anything to do with the first season, but for the second season they asked me to check the audio to make sure that the subtitles were matching with the audio. So yeah, that was a really interesting project, and I heard the new season is getting great reviews, so hopefully you can check that out. And what else? Yeah, I also do reviews on Letterboxd, and I collect a lot of movies at home, like DVD, Blu-rays, and things like that. And yeah, my main job is a translator, and now podcaster as well with you. I have done one other podcast before with a friend named Jason Verney. He also used to live here in Kingston. Now he's off in Asia, but doing his own thing. And he's also a filmmaker, and I assisted him on one of his short films, so that's another connection I have to cinema. But yeah, I lived in Korea for 6 years, and went to a lot of cinemas in Korea, and I also visited the Busan International Film Festival.
Even I didn't. I haven't.
Yeah, you haven't been there
Yeah,
yet, but you should. You should
yeah.
definitely. It's
That's
really
one of my bucket list. Yeah.
really interesting place or event.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest Asian film
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think it started what, like 10 over
Yeah,
20
quite
years ago now,
newish
but
for film festival,
but
it's
it
growing a
exploded.
lot.
Yeah,
it's
so
growing.
it's now, I think it's probably the most important
Yeah,
in Asia,
in
right?
Asia,
And
yeah.
one of the most important in the world. And so the festival we met at was London East Asia Film Festival. So they showed a lot of films from Japan, China, Korea mainly, but some other Asian countries. And there's also the London Korean Film Festival, which I volunteered for that once before. And we always look forward to that. I think it's around November time. London East Asia is usually in October, so it's coming up soon. And we might, we might check those out. And also the BFI London Film Festival is another one. So we hope to do some future episodes related to film festivals, cinemas in London, and but we're gonna start out by talking about Korean cinema, especially classic Korean cinema.
Yeah, classic Korean cinema. So as you saw from this poster, it's
Yeah.
1960s,
Yeah.
the original film
Mhm.
called Mageddon.
Mageddon, which in English is The Devil's Stairs or The Devil's
Okay.
Stairway or Staircase. And it's not particularly very famous film, but it was released by the Korean Film Archive 2 or 3 years ago on Blu-ray, DVD. I think you can probably check it on their YouTube channel as well, but don't quote me on that. But we are going to be talking about some other films from the Korean Film Archive and their YouTube channel, Korean Classic Film.
Yeah.
So search that on YouTube, you can find it. They have over 100 classic films. This is one that they have released. This is not the original, like, authentic poster, but it's a reproduction of that from the 1960s. At that time, they used to use a lot of Chinese characters, apparently. Can you read any of that?
Well, I can pick up some word,
Yeah.
but not really.
Yeah,
really,
just the Hangul on the side and top, right?
So until you mentioned the Korean Film Archive, myself, Korean, like I haven't really known how much of the restoration job they have done worldwide, and the platform on YouTube. I think it's very useful, helpful, the platform to make people get into Korean classic films.
Yeah, because I think they have over 100 or so. Starting from the 30s and 40s, but mostly 60s, 70s onward, up to the 90s even. And a lot of them are like, very much classic films in Korean cinema, but they also have English subtitles, and usually the quality is pretty good. Some are in HD, some are not, but a very excellent resource to check out. And so from our next episode, we're going to talk about probably a famous film called The Housemaid.
Yeah, so just speaking of Housemaid, it's one of the best, like really great work that Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project got on with that film. So they rediscovered.
I think they collaborated with the Korean Film Archive to restore the film.
So it's a part of the Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project on which institution?
Yeah, so he started the Film Foundation in the 90s to restore American films, and then right in the 2000s they started the World Cinema Project to rediscover, restore films from around the world. So
around the world, particularly unknown cinema from underdeveloped films, Mexico, Turkey, and then South Korea.
India, Iran, many countries where they have less budget to restore those kind of
infrastructure.
films. Yeah, exactly. So, and also some Korean films, as you mentioned. This one, I don't know if it was done with the World Cinema Project, but it is a little bit similar to the Housemaid in terms of the staircase theme, and it's also a kind of horror film. The Housemaid is, I would say, it's on the edge of a horror film, but you could call it also a thriller.
thriller drama, so
Yeah.
it's mix of genre into one film.
Yeah, that's something that Korean cinema does quite often, is mixing the genres, right?
Yeah, so later on that Housemaid also will inspire a lot of modern Korean director, Bong Joon-ho, Park Chan-wook, and even Hollywood director, the filmmakers.
Yeah. If you know the recent Park Chan-wook film, The Handmaiden, the title is basically a takeoff of The Housemaid, right? So yeah, they were very much inspired by that film, and Martin Scorsese also thinks it's a brilliant film. So
yeah. So what about British film? Like how much knowledge you have on?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm not born or raised in the UK. I'm half British. My mother's English, but I was born and raised in Canada. So I have a little bit of an outsider's perspective on British cinema, as you do as well, right? But definitely an interest in it. There's many great British directors: Alfred Hitchcock, Christopher Nolan. You know, the list goes on. But eventually, yeah, we will get into some of their works, hopefully. But for now, as I said, we're going to start with the Korean classic film. So we hope you're interested in that. We want to give you some content that other podcasts haven't been doing necessarily. I know some people have been reviewing the Korean Film Archive films, like just in writing, but not so much like talking about it and exchanging views between a Korean person and a Western person. So hopefully it will be interesting for you guys, but we want to get some feedback from you as well.
And any recommendation of films you want to watch, or you want us to discover, let us know. And moving on to our next episode will be 1960s Korean classic cinema. So we selected several directors of that golden age of Korean history, and they talk about the cultural reference which based on that era, and then also the best directors of that stage.
Yeah, The Housemaid was directed by Kim Ki-young, who, as you said, was a very influential director, and maybe we can relate it to this film also, because there's some connections there, but we'll also give you some recommendations of other films from the 60s that you might want to check out, because there's so many great films in the 60s. That's why they call it the golden age, right? And a lot of them are available on that Film Archive YouTube channel.
So we'll advertise it on our social media channel, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So please stay tuned. And
yeah, hopefully we can put together like a website with more resources, more information, reviews and things.
Yeah, and with newsletter as well.
Yeah, the newsletter. And that's most of what we had to say for today. But we're recording this in Kingston, and specifically Kingston University. Kingston is famous for a man named Edward Muybridge, who was living here in the 1800s, and he built or invented a very early form of a film camera called a zoopraxiscope, and this is very important in the history of cinema. So this is a great location to talk about cinema, of course. Yeah. And there are a couple of cinemas in this area. A lot of books, as you can see. We brought out some books on academic books on film, and we know some academics working in this field and who are interested in Korean cinema and Asian cinema more generally. Hopefully we can have some interviews with those people in the future on this podcast. And
through this podcast we also like to expand our network on Korean cinema, who are the critics, academics, or just purely the fans of Korean cinema. So please stay tuned.
Sounds good. Okay, I can't wait for the next episode. So see you then.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.